Wafuasi hao wanadaiwa kuwa kundi haramu la Al-Shabaab.
Wewe joa mkutana na Al-Shabaab. Umesema mkutana leo.
Wakaniambia nilale hapa.
This therefore was not an Al-Shabaab terrorist attack.
How do you arrest an armed person?
The names of the people that are involved in this, they are well known.
The problem is really a significant problem.
Despite an aerial and ground manhunt for the poachers, they managed to get away. The ivory tusks are said to have weighed between 70 and 90 kilograms, a bulky undertaking for the poachers.
I therefore declare Uhuru Kenyatta the duly elected President of the Republic of Kenya.
Over 100% turnout is illegal. So how do you resolve those forms?
From President to County Assembly. Go to the website and check and click on the results.
This is what the principal document upon which a presidential election is decided looks like.
Watu wanasema kwamba mapasta ni wezi. Si basi wacha hata nikuibia mara moja. Kama ni kuiba, wacha nikuibia leo.
We used to use potassium permanganate. I'm supposed to shout, "Man of God, man of God, there's blood oozing from his leg."
Oh my God, thank you Jesus.
Wewe usiende huko hujatoa sadaka. Simama hivyo unasimama. Yes, I will leave this church. If there is anybody ambaye anasema ya kwamba aliombewa HIV kwa hii kanisa na kusema ukweli hakuwa na HIV, hata nitashangaa.
We took IEBC Chairman Ishaq Hassan's advice. We chose to look into things ourselves.
The paper trail of the March 2013 presidential election is long and difficult to follow, but in so doing, we now have printouts of Form 34s from across constituencies in Kenya. These Form 34s we were able to print out on the basis of evidence that the IEBC presented to the Supreme Court during the Supreme Court petition after the election. A Form 34 looks something like this. This is what the principal document upon which a presidential election is decided looks like. Now, while we were looking through these Form 34s as well as Form 36s, which are the tallies of the Form 34s, we discovered inconsistencies that may help us and Kenyans as well understand just what happened at polling station level on election day.
We selected sample constituencies from across the country to help us understand a number of things. Whether there were Forms 34 that were missing, whether the tallied results of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga from Forms 34, when added up, corresponded with what was found in the Form 36 edition of results from the constituencies, and whether these forms themselves had any noticeable irregularities. This is what we found. To assess missing Forms 34, we picked Turkana North constituency, Turkana Central, Igembe North, Tigania East, Tigania West, Aldai, Kapenguria, Embakasi Central, Narok South, Laikipia West, Mvita, Ruiru and Matayos constituencies, 14 constituencies in all. In these 14 constituencies, we found 76 missing Forms 34 in total. From Loarengak Primary School, a polling station in Turkana North constituency, Turkana County, the form from Stream 2 is missing. The worst example we came across was in Laikipia West constituency, where we found that 30 Forms 34 were missing in total. An anomaly we found was that many of the results from these missing forms were tabulated in a constituency tally of results, Form 36. But out of the 76 Forms 34, we also found that there were 15 instances where the Forms 34s were missing and their corresponding tallied results in Form 36 were missing as well. An interesting example of this comes from Matayos constituency in Busia County. The name of the polling station was St. Mary's Nursery. Not only was the Form 34 from this polling station missing and absent from the tally in Form 36, the Form 36 itself appears to have been drawn by hand. Interestingly, there are 2 copies of this Form 36 for Matayos constituency, one drawn by hand, the other printed out. In both of these forms, the result from St. Mary's Nursery is missing. Both forms also bear the IEBC stamp. Which one was used when announcing the final result for Matayos? The forms we had a chance to look at were what the IEBC presented to the Supreme Court. A senior member of the IEBC Commission Secretariat, who was at the National Tallying Center, who spoke to us confidentially, corroborates this. On missing Forms 34, he says this, quote, "We would receive forms, but after counting, some forms went missing," end quote.
There were many missing forms altogether. There's no Form 34 for at least 80 polling stations. In the scrutiny that we observed, now we weren't able to observe all the stations where scrutiny was taking place, but of the ones that we saw, we counted at least 80 missing forms. So now, and I'm sure you know, the Mars Group did its own audit. The Mars Group found approximately 2,600 missing forms. How have you announced a result without every single form being turned in?
All the results now are in the website. All the results from all polling stations for every election, from president to county assembly. Go to the website and check and click on the results. You'll see the entire results which we gave to Parliament. And nobody has come back to us and told us that anything is wrong there. No.
In the scrutiny ordered by the Supreme Court, there were also missing Forms 34 noted, with results missing in the Forms 36 of 75 constituencies. Jasper Mbioki observed the scrutiny as a representative of TNA, while Dr. Seema Shah was there on behalf of AFRICOG.
I saw nothing that was irregular in the scrutiny exercise. The only thing that was irregular here, well, maybe it was not stamped or the signature is below the line. And those are normal challenges of any exercise that is carried out by human beings. But largely, the exercise was way above board.
Obviously, if the equivalent of the 16A form is missing, that is a matter for concern. Not necessarily so much in the actual calculation of the result, but in the credibility of the process. Ultimately, an election is as good as the people think it is.
Lucy Wangoi delivers a baby boy at Nyeri Provincial Hospital. The father to the newborn child, George Nderitu, asked for some time off to attend to the arrival of a new family member. 2 days later, Lucy Wangoi says the husband received a call.
Around saa 5:30 to saa 6 hapo akapigiwa simu. Akatoka nje kwa sababu hapa kunanga network, akachukulia simu pale nje. Na nikasikia akisema sema Mudia. Then I think huyo mtu akamwambia ako town, juu akamuuliza uko town. Akamwambia nipe 30 minutes nikuje. After that akakuja, kaenda bathroom, akaoga. Then after amekaka tena, huyo mtu still akampigia tena. Akamuuliza ama ametoka kwa nyumba. Yeye akamwambia hajatoka, lakini akamwambia nimetoka, niko hapa nakuja, lakini hakuwa ametoka. Yeye akamwambia ukikuja unipate whispers back. Akamuuliza ati nini? Nikupate whispers? Akamwambia nakuja saa hii.
Leaving a 2-day-old son under the care of his wife, Nderitu, a police officer attached to Central Bank Nyeri branch, was reported officially missing.
Kitu saa 4 nikamgoja hakuji. Kitu saa 6 ndio nikafikiria nichukue simu nimpigie. Nikapata kwa mteja. Nikajaribu hiyo line nyingine, still mteja. Nikafikiria hapa jua kunanga network, wacha nipigie brother yake. Amjaribu, inaweza kuwa huku ni network hakuna. Saa hiyo kulikuwa around saa 7 ya usiku, then akanipigia, kaniambia ako mteja.
A day later, the body of George Nderitu was discovered at Nyeri Provincial Hospital mortuary. He had been shot and killed 22 kilometers away inside Solio Ranch. The body of William Gishoi Kariuki was also booked alongside that of George Nderitu. The media had a day earlier been told that the two were notorious poachers, gunned down as they tried to kill rhinos in the expansive ranch and sanctuary. But it is the details of these killings and many others that have put a spotlight on the ranch and several of the country's national parks. The 75-acre Solio Ranch has been divided into two major areas. The outer ranch that takes up much of the space is expansive but is ringed off with an electric fence. The inner ranch, referred to as the Rhino Sanctuary, is 69 square kilometers and has an electric fence as well. The sanctuary has a watchtower, has satellite KWS tents manned by armed KWS rangers, and according to many observers, it is virtually impossible for an amateur to boldly gain access to the bigger ranch, let alone the Rhino Sanctuary. George Nderitu and William Gishoi were gunned down not inside the Rhino Sanctuary, but outside it. Just like the other suspected poachers killed in the protected wildlife zone. Indeed, no suspected poacher has been killed inside the sanctuary where the rhinos are. The family says the killing was suspect, a theory supported by an independent team of police investigators.
Hiyo mili kulingana na vile inspector mtoto alikuta, kwa maana hatukuikuta pale, tayari ilikuwa imepelekwa kwa moshari. Ilikuwa nawekwa asifu ni mtu alikuwa anapanga kuni. Mwili moja pale na ile ingine.
KTN has obtained statements penned by Kenya wildlife rangers who took part in the killing of the suspected poachers. According to the statement seen exclusively by the Inside Story, about 9 Kenya Wildlife Service rangers were on duty on the night in question. They say they were on patrol inside the Rhino Sanctuary when they heard gunshots. One of the rangers says he fired twice in the air to scare away would-be intruders. The ranger says, while on the way to Kongoni area where the gunshots were originating from, they again had 2 more gunshots. The account says the team then positioned itself in a bush and saw 2 men approaching, one of them carrying a firearm. The ranger does not say if the man tried to fire at him, but they opened fire all the same, killing the 2 on the spot. The ranger says he fired 15 rounds of ammunition and that 1 poacher managed to escape. A second ranger on this part says he fired at the 2 men, one carrying a firearm, but this was after his boss directed him through a police pocket phone to a likely position where the poachers were. But multiple accounts and investigations by pathology suggest there was no shootout between the suspected poachers and the game rangers. In fact, our investigations indicate the 2 suspected poachers might have been killed elsewhere and their bodies brought to the scene of the murder. Our investigations traced the last moments of the 2 slain men and spoke to an expert who spent 5 hours with their bodies. The inside story has learned that the man who lured George Nderitu to his death travelled to Nyeri a day before the police officer attached to Central Bank was killed. George Nderitu met the man in the company of two others at a Nyeri terminus in Nyeri town. Nderitu was picked up by a vehicle registered under high-profile parastatal. The last place George Nderitu was traced to was Gathare Hill area, several kilometers from Nyeri town. That was about 8 p.m. It wasn't until the following day that the body of George Nderitu and that of William Gishoi were found inside Solio Ranch. But curiously, the two suspected poachers, William Gishoi, the man killed alongside George Nderitu, had never met in life. The family says it is yet to understand how the two ended up dead on an alleged poaching mission.
Watu welezeni, yes, Gishoi ni poacher, lakini walikuwa wamemweka mahali kama kikingi ndio wamgoge risasi 4 the same place ndio halafu wamwaguche chini.
The inside story can authoritatively report that the country has only 11 kingpins behind the country's largest onslaught on rhinos and elephants. The masterminds run an enterprise of recruiters, facilitators, transporters and gunmen under the noses of intelligence and security officers. The men are known to authorities. The National Intelligence Service knows them. The National Security Advisory Committee, the highest security organ in the country, has the list. The Kenya Wildlife Service Board has been furnished with their details. Nothing has moved. Documents seen by Gethi indicate that the group operates a well-organized cartel that has roots both within and without Kenyan borders. They are mostly Kenyan nationals with foreigners as their wingmen. The group has designated gunmen, drivers, low-level handlers, those who go into the parks to kill, and those whose task is to ferry ivory trophies. Gethi has established that one of the kingpins, with one of his names as Mushina, is based in central Kenya. The man has an official security detail. National Police Service officers are attached to him. It is not clear why the man linked to almost every rhino killed in the country has police officers guarding him around the clock. The man has international connections to Uganda, Tanzania and beyond. He has been linked to several suspects arrested with ivory tusks in the past. Mushina has assistants in Nyeri town. The assistants are known to law enforcement agents. Has another assistant who coordinates poaching in Oljogi, Nanyuki and Solio ranches. The man whose name has come up on several arrests involving poachers has another assistant in Loitoktok who coordinates poaching for him in Amboseli, Loitoktok and Chilu. Last year, Mushina was linked to ivory seized in Rift Valley. Efforts by a provincial administrator to have those arrested released led to the transfer, but that is as far as it went. Mushina, whose second name Gethi has, still walks around a free man. Mushina is described as a fast recruiter and corrupter. In his team is former KWS employees and junior staff of national parks and rhino sanctuaries. The man has a facilitator who sources firearms for him in Nanyuki. Mushina has a marksman in his camp. The man has connections to either other gunmen in Isiolo and has spread his network to other national parks all over the country.
What is it that these men, these women, these children saw that they are now looking at again? What is it that, even though each of them, though surrounded by so many others, are inexplicably alone in the dark. Many of them saw this. The remains of their sons and fathers, hands bound behind their backs, some with their throats slit, others with single close-range bullets to the head. Murdered by men who came and went as they pleased. Men who in the dead of the night called their victims by their names.
Wakabisha. Wakaniita kwa jina, mama udipo fungua.
taasoo u suurtagelisay mujaahidiintu inay dhammaan la wareegaan magaalada Magatuli.
In a dark room somewhere in a Kenyan town, we met a person whose insights about the attacks in Lamu West would build on this statement. This is Ruwaida, not her real name. Her son is among the thousands of men who crossed into Somalia between 2009 and 2014, committing himself to life as a terrorist.
Wale walifanya mashambulizi ni Al-Shabaab kutoka Somalia, lakini ni Wakenya wale wako huko, kwa sababu Wakenya, kuna Wakenya wa Somalia na kuna Wakenya wa kawaida.
Ruwaida is a mother of a terrorist, on the outside looking in, but her sentiments echo with almost pinpoint accuracy the sentiment of Al-Shabaab spokesman for military operations, Sheikh Abdulaziz Abu Musab, whose audio recording was uploaded onto Somali website somalimemo.net on June the 18th, just days after the Mpeketoni attack.
waxaan maanta ka warbixinaynaa oy bishu tahay 18 Shacbaan 1435 Hijri. laba weerar oo xigtay ay mujaahidiintu ka geysteen nawaaxiga Lamu ee waxa weeyaan Kenya.
The assertion of land grabbing between 2011 and 2014 could build on yet another long-running land and resource grievance, that the locals had long ago been robbed of their land. The Mpeketoni settlement schemes were created as a result of Kenya's first president, Jomo Kenyatta's initiative to resolve another land resource problem on his hands in his home Central Province. A story is told of an early 1970s visit by the founding president to Mpeketoni. It's a story that Omar Ali, one of the first residents of Mpeketoni as it's known today, knows by heart.
Mzee hayati Kenyatta akaja. Alipokuja akafungua kama cotton board tulime pamba. Kisha cotton ikaanza kulimwa 71 na 72. Lakini ikawa cotton ni nyingi, ikakosekana watu wa kuweza kuivuna. Kajaribu kuongezwa watu, kachukuliwa watu kutoka Leba, Mombasa wakaletwa, na hapo watu wakashindwa kuivuna. Serikali ikachukua jukumu la kusema afadhali ikatiwe wananchi hizo shamba wagawanyiwe. Wakati hayati alipokuwa huko kule, tulimuomba kwa alisema hii ardhi nzuri na nyinyi mnakaa na njaa, hakuna chakula, tukamwambia tuletee matinga. Akasema basi nitawaletea matinga. Sasa ndio tuliona watu miminika wanaingia tu hapa, ndio tukajua haya ndio wale matinga tuliambiwa.
According to the 1969, 1979 and 1989 national censuses, the steady rise of the population of the Agikuyu in Lamu lends credence to the claim. The mass influx of the Agikuyu population in Lamu, looked at against the increasing marginalization of coastals across the coastal region, makes for a powerful analogy. Today, if you walk down a street in Mpeketoni, it won't be long before you are met by the influence that the Agikuyu have here. It's thus easy to buy into the rhetoric that the Agikuyu who live down here are unwanted. The less known or less told part of the story of the Agikuyu's move to Lamu is this.
Hakukuwa na upaguzi wowote isipokuwa wale wenyewe wenyeji walipewa haki zaidi. Mwenye mashamba matatu, mwenye mashamba mawili, mwenye mashamba manne walipewa, tukarudi sisi wenyewe tukawauzia Wakikuyu. Tumeoana, wao wametuoa, sisi tumewaoa, tumezaana, matanga mmoja, harusi pamoja sisi. Miaka yote hii hakuna siku tumekosana kwa sababu ya mashamba wala kwa sababu ya jambo lolote. Mpaka juzi hunu adui ambao umezoingia ndio leo unataka kutugawanya.
What spun the narrative that the Agikuyu dispossessed locals of their land was a controversial purchase and grabbing of land across coastal Kenya by far fewer but far more powerful individuals. But that is an easier grievance to latch onto, in spite of what the Al-Shabaab who committed the murders here said.
Hawakuongea mambo ya mashamba. Wamesema tutataka kusafisha tu. Sasa tujui kusafisha nini sasa? Waliongea tutataka kusafisha hii. Waliongea kutoka wakasema, manake tuliwaambia kuna wenzetu hapa wamelima shamba. Wasema hapana, hatutaki mambo ya ukabila. Hatutaki mambo ya ukabila.
Pale wao walikuja kushambulia makafiri tu, wakuja ati kusema tu wamekuja kushambulia kabila fulani. Hata wewe hujafuata sheria ya Mwenyezi Mungu, akikupata atakushambulia.
That the targeting of people in Lamu West wasn't tribal is something that County Commissioner Jenga Mary agrees with.
For the ordinary people, because this is not the ordinary people fighting. You see, an ethnic war where we had ethnic fighting in this country, it has been clearly the local ordinary people fighting. But this is a situation where people are being brought from elsewhere and inserted to come and fight. So we don't think it is true. Indeed, even the fear, all communities have been living now in fear.
Jenga Miri is right about the fact that some of the attackers, at least some of those who murdered in Mpeketoni, were not from Mpeketoni. But how did they know the locals? And how did they have such a good grasp of the lay of the land? One word, one that was part of the president's speech after the attack, answers both of those questions: intelligence.
Hakunionyesha wala hakunambia kwamba ameambiwa nini, lakini ananiambia imeandikwa vibaya vibaya.
Wanajua ni watu fulani wanakaa hapo.
Planning for the attacks in Mpeketoni, it would seem, started way before the attacks, with a set of seemingly unrelated but neatly welded together events. And January the 23rd this year was a crucial date in this chain of events. The time was headed to 9 a.m. on an ordinary sunny morning in Malindi. 61-year-old Ahmed Abdallah Bakushwain was headed to meet with a police contact to discuss some information he was looking into. A CCTV camera captures the morning events as his SUV pulls to the side of the road. What he doesn't know is that behind him, 3 men on a motorcycle are following him, shadowing his every turn. It barely takes a minute after he pulls over. The motorcycle pulls up behind him. A man in a white shirt gets off, approaches Bakushwain's car, and fires off his gun. Bakushwain receives 3 bullet wounds, 1 to the head and 2 to the chest. He dies instantly. Bakshuain's murder sent shockwaves through the security circles for one reason. Bakshuain was a key informant on matters of terrorism in that region for the local police, and it's been alleged for the FBI. One of Bakshuain's widows, Maimoon, tells us about the man.
Kazi yake sasa sielewi. Hata kama ni usiku saa 8 ataamka, akipigwa simu atazungumza, atapiga simu kueleza nimepewa habari hii na hii. Anytime yani utamsikia akizungumza yeye na alikuwa na very high intelligence.
Bakshuain was a well-known man in Malindi, being the patriarch of a powerful family. But an associate of his, from a far less glamorous background, met the same fate in an even more macabre fashion. His name was Faiz Muhammad. On an abandoned stretch of seashore watched over by crows, fishermen came upon a ghastly sight. The body of a man dressed in blue jeans and a white vest laid there, decapitated.
Mpaka wa sasa hatujapata kitu, hatujakipata.
Faiz's wife and family would later find out that it was him who had been murdered. Speaking off camera, individuals in Malindi tell us of a seemingly unlikely friendship between Bakshuain and Faiz.
Siwezi kujua ni kazi gani koko akifanya, lakini yeye yuko pamoja na serikali. Nashughulika na wao. Pamoja na huyu Ahmed Bakshuain walikuwa kwa pamoja. Lakini hii kazi ambayo wanafanya mimi sijui mpaka muda huu. Ndio sijajua.
Faiz, it later emerged, was part of the Al-Shabaab who turned informer for the government.
FBI yeye alikuwa kakiniaga akienda Mombasa akionana nao, lakini hapa sijawaona wakifika. Lakini hawa serikali mimi huwaona hapa wakifika wakiongea naye na nini, lakini sijui kitu gani chaendelea.
Faiz's trips to Kiunga and Somalia, it's been alleged, were made at the behest of the Al-Shabaab here in Kenya. He would take young men across the border and into the hands of Al-Shabaab trainers. But for Bakshuain, the government and the FBI, he was a key partner in the building of information about the terror group's operations in Kenya.
Akimlipia nyumba, watoto shule, matumizi, yani wa kila kitu, wakimwangalia.
But he would be found out.
Alitolewa kwenye Facebook, akanambia Faima nimetolewa kwenye Facebook. Hakunionyesha wala hakunambia kwamba ameambiwa nini, lakini ananiambia imeandikwa vibaya.
And we used to use potassium permanganate, which is a chemical, a lab chemical. Once it is applied on you and it reacts with water and oxygen, it becomes red. So people would think that is blood. So in church we used to wash people's feet, and during the washing of the feet we would apply it, and people would believe that was blood oozing out from their legs. In outdoor meetings, I personally used to take it, buy an handkerchief or a face towel, and I would put it there and take it to him at the pulpit. So he would just touch it and greet you, tell you to wash your hands. Or touch it, and surprisingly, if it begins to rain, you see blood oozing from your hands.
Shikanisha mikono yako. Nyinyi mko na ukimwi, shikanisha mikono yako miwili. Nataka kuombea hiyo mikono. Baba, nimecommand hiyo mikono yao. Nguvu za uchawi, nguvu za majini, nguvu za mapepo, nguvu za kuzimu, I rebuke you now in Jesus name. In Jesus name. Pray for them, 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 intercede 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 for them. I want to show you. Shikanisha mikono yako miwili namna hii. Nataka niwaoneshe most of watu ambao unaona hapa mbele ni kurogwa, wamerogwa na wamerushiwa roho ya ukimwi. Sema mimi sitaongea na wao, lakini nataka nikuoneshe ukimwi ikiondoka ukiona na macho yako. Weka mikono yako hapa. Oga na hii, usiongezewe maji. Tell me what this. Oga na hii. Unaona? Hii ni damu imeanza kumwagika. Kuja mzee uone. Look at that. That's witchcraft. Look at that. Tell me what's that. And yeah, that's the power of witchcraft. I want to show you. Unaona? Look at that. Huanga unatoka damu mikono yako?
Bana, sijawahi pastor. Bana.
Na nini inaendelea sasa?
Oh my God, thank you Jesus. Hallelujah. Natabidi kaona si kitu ya kawaida na wasa wakipima hawana kitu.
Wakipima hawaoni kitu. Angalia. Wale wanaangalia, just look. Acha mvutiwe na watu wa kamera. I think itaonekana katika television zenu. Haiwezi. Okay, asante. You can see. Pokea katika jina la Yesu Kristo. Receive the glory of God. Receive the glory of God. Receive the glory of God. Receive the glory of God.
On another occasion, we asked Wachira to demonstrate exactly how this scam worked.
This gel is used to stick the needles between the fingers so that once you close your fingers like this, no one can suspect that you have needles. You can raise your hands. You take this and apply in between the fingers like this. Or while they are praying and they have closed their eyes. So to stick the needles. At that time we have identified 2 or 3 people who will be prophesied that they have needles in their bodies and that someone went to a witch doctor and spells were cast on them that they will never make it in life. So as an indication that there is deliverance, then blood is supposed to ooze from their legs. You can close this finger like this for a long time, close to 15 minutes, before the gel begins to melt. So at this point in time, people are praying. Others have been prophesied to, and they have been selected, and they have been put on a special seat in front of the church. On this other hand, I already have this chemical.
That's potassium permanganate.
This is potassium permanganate, I can show you. It is highly reactive to water and oxygen, so it will just turn red. After a few people are selected and they have been prophesied to, they have needles in their bodies and that blood is going to come out from their legs, is when now he commands that we go and pray for them. And we begin to pray, holding your leg like this, pray.
So at that time you're rubbing?
Yes, at that time I'm just rubbing it on your legs, yes. Like this. And then after I have finished praying, I'll just now advise you to put your leg in the water. I wash your legs. Then when it begins to react, I'll be closing my eyes. So when I open my eyes,
it's immediate,
it is, it begins now to show. And then I'm supposed to shout, man of God, there's blood oozing from his leg. Man of God, there's blood oozing from his leg. And then still I'll be dropping the needles in water. Then the man of God will begin praying. And after I've dropped the needles, continue praying. I'll continue praying And then I would ask you to remove your leg. Remove your leg. Then I'll just take the water. Of course, this is contaminated water. It has a lot of witchcraft.
Yeah.
So I would
that's
also...
why you'd explain that it's certain purpose.
Yes, yes. Then I would tell the man of God, there are needles inside. So I'm supposed to, to shout, man of God, there are needles inside. There are needles coming out of his leg. And then you would demand to see them. So I'm supposed to take them and show him. Tell him, man of God, there were 4 needles in his leg and they have come out. So you tell the person maybe who has problems in life that the witchcraft has come out. This was put by a witch doctor, and now he's free. He will make it. Or if he's sick, that now he's healed.
The quote-unquote miracle would stun those whose feet were washed into paying for their healing.
Aliona mtu amechukua picha yake akamfanyia hivi. Kutoka siku hiyo shida yake ilianzia hapo.
How much would a miracle like this cost that person?
This would depend with the problem of the person. If the person is sick and maybe after doing a short interview with the person, you would get to know whether the person has money or not.
Yes.
So such kind would depend with the problem. 7,000, 10,000, 2,000, that would depend with the problem.
Kama hauna sadaka ya 500 uko na 200, hiyo ndio sadaka ya mwisho utachukua. 200 sadaka ya mwisho.
But this kind of healing was nothing more than a sham, more mirage than miracle. But it worked.
Come, those of you who are heavy laden, and I shall give you rest. It's no mistake that this kind of message would find resonance here in Kayole, a place with a multitude of churches, all bearing slogans that have words like deliverance, hope, healing, ministry, transformation even. Those words have specific and very personal meanings to the people here, because these are the people that need those words the most. It's also no mistake that Victor Kanyari's church draws a majority of its people from Kayole, people with but 2 cents to rub together. But from those 2 cents, Kanyari is minting millions.
Kuna watu wamepewa magari hii dunia haimekalika. Mungu anajua ni kwa nini watu wanatembea mguu. Mungu anajua ni kwa nini unakaa Soweto. Mungu anajua ni kwa nini unakaa Kingarama, tunaitwaje? Kwingine kunaitwa Mathare wapi? Wengine wenu mioyo yenu ni chafu sana. Na ndio maana Mungu amekosa kuwabariki.
Lakini maajabu ile nilipata kutoka kwenye kanisa, daktari aliniambia nipande mbegu ya 300. Sema haleluya.
On the day that we visit Kanyari's church, we find people in shining flowing robes leading praise and worship. They're from Kanyari's church, which has a branch in Kayole. Kanyari tells us that these people, mostly women, are the heart of his ministry. And they are. But if you look a little closer, it's not for the reason that they think that they are important to him.
Mungu si mjinga, anafanya nini? Hii pesa ninatoa na peana kwa Islamu. Mungu anaitisha amekurudishia. Ndio unawasikia wajao wameitisha mwanamume wa Kibera 55,000 akatuma. Mtu wa Kibera. Hadi unaitwa Ayana. Ndani ikiwa watu wa Kibera wanatoa, watu wao ndio wao yanashika kutoa.
On the day that we visit, we see a lot of them coming in for prayers from Kanyari. Their unquestioning faith in him is the bait for others of similar situations from across the country to believe that he actually does heal and that he truly is a prophet. Many of them say that the prophet saw their problems even without meeting them.
Yuko na shida right now, ako pregnant na anashangaa. Anasema ya kwamba hii mimba nimebeba. Je, ni kudanganywa na danganywa? Huyu mwanaume ni wa ukweli ama ni wa uongo? Ndio nasikia roho wa Mungu ananiambia.
Ni ukweli mtumishi wa Mungu.
Anasemaje?
Anasema kwamba hii mimba mwenyewe ameoa mtu mwingine.
Mwenyewe ameoa bibi mwingine.
Ndio.
Rika, yeye ni kama bibi wa pili pale. Yaani yeye ni bibi pale, ni kama bibi wa pili. Sasa kuna wakati alikuwa anasikia ama aitoe. Kuna wakati alikuwa anasikia ama nitoe hii mimba.
But this is how Kanyari is able to see into people's hearts.
Na wenye huanga wako na hiyo department ya kwenda kuongea na watu. Maybe saa ukiingia huko kuna secretaries wenye huanga wanakuongelesha kabla ingie kwa madhabahu. Sasa unajua ukikuja hapo atakuja kuuliza na shida yako ni gani na unaitwaje, umetoka wapi, unaona. Sasa yeye atachukua karatasi tu ataandika. Then ataenda akute prophet kwa ofisi. Sasa ataenda mwambie mtu fulani amekaa kwa lofu fulani, kiti fulani, upande fulani, unaona, na amekaa hivi na hivi. So itakuwa easy ya kwake kwenda kukuexplainia mambo yako akiwa on the pulpit. You have to believe so, kwa sababu amekwambia na hamkuwa mmeongea na yeye.
We have in our possession pages from a book in which people's problems are written down. From problems with money to those struggling with HIV, those desperate for a cure from Kanyari unwittingly tell their problems to one of his employees during one of their weekly services. They are then invited for the Sunday service, and it is here that Kanyari completes this con by reading from this book.
Nauliza, nini mnafanyana na bwana yako?
Hakuna kitu tunafanya.
Sikiza unabii, prophecy, usimuongeleshe. Let me talk to you. Nini mnafanyana na bwana yako? Ni kwa sababu imefikia mahali mpaka mnataka kuuana. Mimi sitaki kujua kama ni bwana mko naye ama mliachana naye, lakini prophecy nimesikia nini mnafanyana na bwana yako. Sijui kama ni your ex husband ama ni your recent husband. That's the prophecy Mungu amenipatia.
Yeye ndiye anataka kuniua.
Nini mnaulizana?
Ni kwa sababu yeye alibadilika akakuwa devil worshiper na tukaachana.
So wakati wa ibada wa prophecy atatoa kile kitabu ako nacho pale kwa pulpit. So ataita hilo jina na he's bright kwa sababu memory yake ni mzuri. Ataita huyo mtu amwambie mambo yake yote ambayo nilikuwa nimemwambia, lakini yule mtu hawezi kukumbuka.
Of course, the false testimonies of his employees also helps to make this more believable. For instance, one of his employees is a resident speaker of tongues.
Sema nivae, wewe mama uliye ndani ya kanisa Kyuta, ile kesho laiti hiyo ya 777. Raita siku 7 peke yake, nitakuwa nimeidikita na kutia muhuri sadaka hiyo.
But people with all sorts of real ailments come to him for healing.
The most important and the most lucrative commodity to ever sell is hope. If somebody feels hopeless, if somebody feels that they don't have a way to go forward, and that's why you see most of the preaching is centered around becoming better or doing better, of having more prosperity or having things like those. So our people will be baited in when they do not have hope. And when this person claims to give them that hope, they seem to have studied the human mind enough to know that if I sell you hope, you're going to buy it. Hook, line and sinker.
This is one particularly disturbing example of blind faith in Kanyari. This woman, whose identity we have concealed, comes to Kanyari complaining of sharp pain in her breast. Watch how Kanyari handles her.
Wewe usiende ukiwa hujatoa sadaka, simama hivyo unasimama.
Niko na shida ya matiti, ile nilikuambia kwa message. Ilianza to wait.
Matiti?
Inauma hata mpaka silali. Nikienda hospitali wananiambia kuna kitu. Hii na nasikia vitu siko ndani zinatembea.
Unasikia namna gani hii matiti? Hebu toa nizione. Unaogopa watu? Au uogopi pastor? Hili matiti anasema geuka tu usijali. Hakuna mtu hajaiona matiti hata kama ni kwa gazeti. Wanaonaga. Hili matiti anasema kwamba anasikia kuna vitu. Unasikia namna gani?
Kianza kuuma nasikianga vitu zinakimbia ndani. Inauma hata mpaka silali, ilianza to wait. Nikienda hospitali wananiambia iko sawa. Nasikia roho inaenda inakatika, wakinivima fresh wananiambia iko sawa.
Mama mmoja wa vitambaa aje hapa paka hii matiti mafuta. Kuja mama wa kitambaa. Simama pale. Simama hapo na matiti yako. Paka hiyo mafuta, angalia pande ile usiogope. Nani hana matiti? Hata mimi niko na yangu. Paka hiyo matiti mafuta vizuri. Hii ni hospitali, umekuja kusaidika.
Bwana asifiwe.
Amen.
Naitwa
mwingine alikuja sehemu ya siri ikiwa imekuliwa na shimo, ikawa na shimo.
After having oil rubbed on her breast, Kanyari will ask this woman for a quote-unquote blessing. What really is a fee for delivering a cure that never was.